Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Games with swords and sorcery, Dungeons and Dragons where they transport players to other worlds where they're most likely going to worship Satan. Sounds fantastic. Let's dive in. We last played The Winged Avenger in the United Kingdom on our ZX Spectrum. First thing we need to do is some corrections. I'm going to go back to TerraGuard and we're going to bump this up from the rating I gave with 3.5 stars. Not good enough. I played a little longer. We're going 4 stars for TerraGuard. It is an excellent release of 1982. And for Winged Avenger, we're actually going to bring it down a peg. Instead of 3.5 stars, we're going to bring it to 3 stars. Sorry, Winged Avenger, but sometimes you just got to change. And with that, let's press forward and see our next game. It's time to go on the Apple II, and this is World Series Baseball. Let's take a look at World Series Baseball, starting with the box. So this one is pretty cool. It is one of the first games that ever have the term World Series as a title or in the game. It's also one of the very first home computer baseball games that's not a simulation. It's an action game. It's a hit, a real hit, because it's championship caliber baseball that outdoes the rest. There's the tense excitement of all-star action plus the strategy of big league competition. Enjoy the realism, thrills of playing and managing, the sheer excitement matched only by the World Series itself. This is by Datamost, and it's a high-res baseball game. Yes, that's true. We even have the retro ratings from the other day. That's right. And flip it over the back, not too much happening on the back of the box. Inside, though, it tells us what this game does. The stands are filled with capacity, radio, TV, newspaper reporters. The World Series is about to begin, starring the 2 top teams in the nation. What excitement, what anticipation. This is the scene, the kind of realistic excitement you get when you play World Series Baseball. Action is fast and smooth. You can start right off like a pro, examining the field, and this uses paddles. You have to have paddles to play this for your Apple II. It has play action, you can bat, you can pitch, you can even manage small things about the team. It has a lot of things. This is by Charles Sullivan Jr. Way to go, Charles. There's an example of the screenshot. It is not just the strategy or tactical baseball game or managing baseball game. This one actually has action for a home computer. Look at that. The reason why I showed the screenshot is find this game. I couldn't find anything on this game anywhere, and here's the reason why. Datamost did not get the rights to use World Series Baseball. They were sued by Major League Baseball. And because of that, most likely this was pulled from the shelves very quickly, and it's extremely hard to find. If you can find this game, let us know. In the meantime, we haven't played it, so I have to go down here at the bottom and give it a 1 star. If you hate that rating and you want to see this game, then show it to me, and we'll play it. So after a sad appointment of World Series Baseball, let's press forward and see our next game. Here we go on the Commodore VIC-20. This is Zap Zap. Let's take a look at Zap Zap. It has no box or information on it, just a few screenshots. Let's pop in and play Zap Zap. This is by Nanook at sometime in June 1982, or Nanook Industries, if you will. There it is, Nanook presents. Probably not pronouncing it correctly. Have Lucy the Lizard catch as many bugs as she can within the time limit. Watch old Lucky Lucy change colors after eating a tasty bug. Okay, press enter, and that's all it is to do make the tongue go out. All right, push any key to continue, and let's see what Lucy. Oh, there's Lucy the Lizard, and all we're doing is we're pushing enter, and we got a bug. And then Lucy changes color. That was tasty. Charming. I would give this something that I would play as a kid for 3 to 4 seconds and then want to move on to something else. This is a 1-button game. All you need to know is pushing enter and hitting at the right time. So it's like you're timing, hitting 1 button to eat a bug, and that's it. Simplistic as simplistic goes. It does have quaint animation, and it is a little charming, but as far as video game and gameplay goes, a 1-button timed input game is way low on the totem. I can understand why we couldn't find as much information on Zap Zap, but after going to the United Kingdom, we've played better ones on the Commodore VIC-20. I'd say this one is a 1-star game. It's borderline between broken and bad. It's way down there. That's true. It is like that. We don't know what you're talking about. What is an app? It's currently 1982. All right, so after Zap Zap, let's go to our next game. We're almost getting done with every single game in June of 1982, and this is our very last game, Zork 2, The Wizard of Frobaz. We last saw this in November 1981 on the TRS-80. Well, it turns out the Apple II was also out in November of 1981. I'm sorry, 1981 for the TRS-80. So both the TRS-80 and Apple II came out at the same time, but this game was lumped in with re-releases, so I didn't showcase it. So we're going to, because we're playing everything here, we're going to play the Apple II version of Zork 2, but that's not all. There's even 3 more releases of Zork 2 that were in June of 1982. So for the very first time, we're doing something different. I have played every version of Zork 2 and saved moments where whenever we finish one home computer, we boot up where we left off on the next home computer and work our way through all the Zork 2s, getting further and further in the story. That's right. For the very first time on the channel, you're going to have more Zork that you can swing an enchanted sword at. And this is the Zork 2 Extravaganza, starting off with the Apple II version of Zork 2. Let's take a look at the artwork that we have for Zork 2. The original box looked something like this. The next step downward to danger. Zork was originally on mainframe as an extremely large game. When it came to home computers, they had to split it into 3 parts. So we're essentially playing the second of the three parts, and we're going to see Zork 3 a little bit later this year, I believe in September. Yes. Oh, really? So Zork 1, okay, Zork 2 pretty much takes over where you left off. And then we also have the re-release box, the back of the original box, and then the advertisement you would have seen at the time. Just when you thought it was safe to go back underground again, they're referring to the Great Underground Empire from Zork 1. There's an example of the map you'd have in Zork 2. Oh man, there's also places that it's hard to map or plot. Zork does things that we've seen in just a sprinkling of text adventure games where when you go from one room to another, it's not the same thing that happens. They actually will disorient the player, so whenever you move back and forth between east and west, for example, they just switch up the rooms and make them random. Really hard to plot that way. And then we also have the back of another box showing Zork 1 and Zork 2. Yeah, play it on your Apple II with the example of the 5 1/4 floppy disk we'll play. Oh, on the Coco. Yeah, this will be a lot later on the Coco. What's up with the Coco having releases so much later? We are really spoiled here playing everything at the cusp of when it comes out. All right, it's time to play Zork 2, The Wizard of Frobaz by Infocom at sometime in November of 1981. So we're going back even further in time just for the Apple II version. Zork 2, The Wizard of Frobaz, The Great Underground Empire, Part 2. Oh, so this is like we're saying previously on Zork. If you finish the whole first Zork game, it takes over right where you left off at the end. So we're now inside the barrow. You're inside the ancient barrow hidden deep within the dark forest. Barrow opens to a narrow tunnel at its southern end. You can see a faint glow at the far end. A sword of elvish workmanship is on the ground. A strangely familiar brass lantern is lying on the ground. And I want to show off a few things about the text parser for Zork and the Zork series in general. It's way beyond any other text parser for our other games. Oh, that's true. Yes. Those, what was it? Cartridge and cassette, right? That were primarily on the Coco at this time. All right. So here's the first thing. I can say get lantern and sword. Oh, wait. You got to spell lantern correct. Get lantern and sword. It helps to spell it correctly. There you go. We can grab both in the same sentence. It's a revolutionary thing. And after we get that, let's go ahead and head south. We got to get an elvish sword. You're standing at the southern end of a narrow tunnel which opens into a wide cavern. Cavern is dimly illuminated by phosphorescent mosses clinging to its high ceiling. A deep ravine winds through the cavern with a small stream at the bottom. The walls of the ravine are steep and crumbly. A footbridge crosses the ravine to the south. This game is very deep on its dialogue, and it almost feels like I'm reading everyone a bedtime story before going to sleep, because this is a very, very deep game. That's true, yes. The whole series of Zork 1, 2, and 3 was all together on... You played everything straight through on mainframe systems. So the real nerds that were into Zork most likely played it on mainframe. So they knew at the end of Zork 1 that there's going to be another part that they have to continue on next. And here it is. Zork 2. All right, let's head south again. Over the footbridge, we're standing on a crude but sturdy wooden footbridge crossing a deep ravine. The path runs north and south from here. Let's go south again. This is the center of the Great Cavern. A great room of flowing color has been carved out of the limestone. Stalactites and stalagmites of many sizes are everywhere. The room glows with dim light provided by phosphorescent moss, and weird shadows move all around you. A narrow path winds among the stalagmites. There are many little trails leading in here and there, but a good one leads southwest toward the edge of the room, and another leads northeast. This just makes you want to be in the world of Zork. There's so much imagination that drives it. Yes, that's right. All right, so let's move on to the southwest. At the shallow ford, we're at the southern edge of a great cavern. To the south across the shallow ford is a dark tunnel which looks as though it was once enlarged and smoothed. To the north, a narrow path winds among stalagmites. Dim light illuminates the cavern. The other thing, too, when I'm playing this game, considering we played so many text adventure games, is a lot of them are based on the original adventure or Colossal Cave. Zork has some elements similar to Colossal Cave, go get treasures to get points, but it has so much more. It's like a larger world to explore than any other game we played. Oh, yes. No way. That's way too expensive. In 1982, it cost that much? All right, so after southwest, let's go ahead and head south. It's pitch black. You're likely to be eaten by a grue. Yes, that's right. Love that line. All right, so let's go ahead and light our lamp. Or lantern. The lamp is on. The dark twisty tunnel with dim light to the northeast. The tunnel is smooth but dusty and filled with debris, twigs and leaves which become deeper as the tunnel branches. A wide corridor leading southwest and a narrower one southeast. Is everyone drawing their map now? Let's go ahead and head southeast. Through the tunnel. We're at the north end of the garden. This is the north end of a formal garden. Hedges hide the cavern walls, and if you don't look up, the illusion is of a cloudy day outside. That's another thing Zork does. Even though you're going underground, it's like different worlds or places you're exploring that don't seem underground. If you don't look up the illusion of a cloudy day outside, the light seems to come from an unusually large growth of the glowing moss of the cave. A break in the hedge is almost overgrown to the north. A carefully manicured path leads to the south. In the center of a bed of roses is a small open structure, a painted white. It appears to be a gazebo. A unicorn is cropping grass on the other side of the room, and a gold key hangs from a ribbon around its neck. That's one of the treasures, is the gold key. All right, so after we get that, we'll be getting that at least next. All right, so let's go ahead and enter the gazebo. Never thought I'd type that in an adventure game. This is the gazebo in the midst of a formal garden. It is cool and restful here. A tea table adorns the center of the gazebo. Sitting on the table is, wow, all this stuff. Matchbook, china teapot, placemat, newspaper, letter opener, everything. All right, so let's go ahead and get everything. Can we get matchbook? Wonder if we can just say get everything. Get everything. Darn, it doesn't know everything. Get teapot. Get mat and paper and opener. Oh, wait. Oh, get mat. I need mat and paper and opener. Does it understand all three? Yes! The Zork text parser is fantastic. All right, so after we get all those, next thing we want to do, I want to make sure we got them all. Did we get everything in the gazebo? Yep. Oh, the unicorn bounds lightly away. Well, we're still in the gazebo. All right, let's go ahead and go out of the gazebo. After we got all of that, we're now at the north end of the garden. It doesn't repeat the description of the garden unless you say look. So we just know we're now in the north part of the garden. All right, let's go ahead and head south. This is the middle part of a formal garden, hedges hide the cavern walls. So it's where we were before, and we have a small gap in the hedges to the west. So let's go through the gap in the hedges. The path follows the south edge of a deep ravine towards the northeast here. A tunnel heads southwest, narrowing to a rather tight crawl. A faint whirring sound can be heard in that direction. On the east is a ruined archway choked with vegetation. All right, so let's go ahead and head southwest. You're in a large circular room whose high ceiling is invisible to the gloom. There are 8 identical passages leaving the room. There is a loud whirring sound coming from all around you, and you feel sort of disoriented in here. Here's the first time where your map-making skills are going to fail you. The carousel room is spinning around, and whenever you want to leave the room, you're going to end up in different places. So it's a random room generator in a text adventure game. Oh, yes, I loved how you're able to describe certain things, and it even is understanding more words than the typical text parser. Yes, and they don't give the whole lengthy summary of all of it. Yeah, you're totally right, Curtis. All right, so we're in the carousel room. We're looking for the marble hall. So we're going to try to find our way out of the marble hall if we can. Let's see if we leave the carousel room and get the marble hall. No way, we got it. Okay, so first try, we got into the marble hall. We left the carousel. We're not sure which direction is which right now. We're very disoriented, but we're now in the marble hall after we step off the carousel. This is a short arched hall of finest marble. The hall stops abruptly to the north at a ford across a stream where the marble is cracked and broken. Perhaps a flood or collapse at the cave was responsible. To the south, the hall opens to a large room. There is rather annoying whirring sound coming from that room. There is a square brick here which feels like clay, which will help us later. All right, so now that we're in the marble hall, we are going to end this section of the Apple II. So there we go, that was the Apple II version of Zork 2. We'll rate all the Zork 2s at the end, but now let's see the next version of Zork 2. We'll be playing on the one, the only, on MS-DOS. This is on also PC Booter or any IBM PC compatibles. So here's Zork 2 on MS-DOS, and I have a soft spot for MS-DOS, so there's a bigger collection here of the feelies that were inside and what Infocom gave us. So let's first take a look at the box. All these that I've tracked down pretty much are the same. Infocom did the same front of the box after this was standardized with the lines as rows going across, and then all they did was add a sticker to what home computer it was. At least these releases that we're seeing now. But there was other ones too. DOS also came with one that looked like this a little bit later, and then way later there was this one by Mastertronic. I believe this was 91 or 92. So another re-release. You can see this one even has 3 1/4, a 3 1/2 floppy disk on the top right. All right, so there's the back of the box. We've already explained most of what you see, of what you get inside the box, but I want to actually show you everything that comes in Zork 2. There's one of the ads we see at the time with, I believe, Starcross, if you see at the top, we haven't seen yet, by Infocom. But Deadline, oh yeah, Deadline's up there as one of the best games too. And then we also have what's inside the box. You have a few cards, registration, and so forth. Great artwork, as well as the map they provide. Look at that. Very, very nice. Oh, this is from the Zork users group, so this would have been seen in a later release. And the first time, I think you had to write in or send in for it. But this map is so detailed. I wish I could show you even more, but this has so much to it. This is the whole world of Zork that you'd also get inside the box. Really, really cool. But that's not all. The full manual to Zork, which we've seen on the TRS-80, I think this is the same one. Yeah, because they provided this manual with several home computers. It just gives you information about like how the text parser works, how to play the game. Until you've entered the world of Zork, you've never truly adventured underground. Zork 1 and Zork 2 are designed that you'll experience their challenges in the most realistic sense. You can communicate in complete sentences rather than two-word commands, with the largest vocabulary and widest range of command options in the genre. Zork's mysteries are the most intricate and ridiculously puzzling. Anybody remember the bank puzzle from Zork 2, if they played it? It's crazy stuff. Oh yeah, the hidden clues, colored play. Yeah, there's a lot of things that they include with the inside the box that help you in the game, like little hints. So reading everything, including the manual, will help you out playing Zork. How do you talk in Zork? They explain the text parser, what it understands, rules and strategies, the concepts for exploring. So much to get down. It's a much bigger game than other text adventure games we played. It's funny that nowadays when we see video games, this is what they ended up becoming. Like you can see this kind of game yourself with graphics, but now this is all imagination. And then we also have Zork responses, like I don't know that word, or you have too many noun clauses. I can't see any blah 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 here. And then we have also syntax, and then great idea. I love when they do that. They include the verbs that you can type in so the computer understands. You understand what the computer wants to hear. And besides the manual, there's more feelies than that. We also have the Bosbarland brochure, a futuristic fantasy amusement park in the Great Underground Empire. Over 2,000 different rides, games, and exhibits. This is meant to, again, get you into the lore of Zork, the world that you're going to be exploring. The haunted house, the roller coaster, the Bombazar Casino. Very nice. Open all year. Nice touch. And then we also have the GUE on 9 Zork mids a day, the manual and guide. And this one has even more information. It's a very, very long manual about all the different places inside. Look at that. We have Mythicus, Midtown Girth, lots of different places to check out. And then this is just for fun. They have their own even dating system, pretending that like it's checked out at a library. So this is the different places you'd be able to see in, well, experience in Zork 2. You wouldn't be seeing anything. It's all text. Greater Borfee, Frigid River Valley, Girth and Mythicus. It's just a massive how much time they spent and love they spent on this game. The Grey Mountains. It's also a game that wasn't heavily advertised. You had to be in the know, part of the Zork community, and understand how big the game is to really love it. And then we also have, oh, it goes on to the next manual for Zork 2. And we also have the Grey Slopes brochure that was also inside the Great Underground Empire's Winter Wonderland. I love how they're skiing on the stalactites at the top. Very nice touch. And again, it's another brochure about the world of Zork. So much stuff. It's amazing. And we also have, just for fun, the Invisiclues hint book, which if you were if you mailed in and were having difficulty with the game, and we know you did, everyone did, then this is one of the ways that you can get the help you need. This has all the clues and hints, and then it even will provide you answers, but it's like in a separate envelope that you'd open up later. Yeah, this is pretty long. It goes through all the different puzzles, and so you have places where you can see, you'll write down what some of the clues, or what you're judging as what would be the best way to handle it. And then you can also ask for the answers if you want. And then we also have the map that the Invisiclues provides. Look at this one. This is great stuff. Yeah, the full map of Zork 2. They even have different passageways to go from room to room. Man, it's a world of fantasy, imagination. And also, we have the answers and also the hint book of Invisiclues if you just want some hints. They give you some story talking about, again, different areas in Zork 2. Look at this. We even have some writing that someone put in. Yes, melted the glacier with anything lard. Yeah, there you go. How do I catch the unicorn and get the golden key? That's what we're going to do on the show. We will know how to catch the unicorn and get the golden key. And then we also have the poster, which we've already seen. So now it's time to play on MS-DOS, Zork 2, The Wizard of Frobaz. Get ready for high resolution. Yeah, check that out. All right, so we are not going to begin at the end. We're going to restore where we left off after the Apple II. So let's load it up, and we're in. Take a look where we are. We're back in our marble hall where we left off. We have the annoying whirring sound coming from the room, and there's a square brick here that feels like clay. So let's keep going. Let's go ahead and go north. We're at a deep ford. You are fording the stream at a deep but not impossible spot. The water's very cold. The walls of the ravine rise to east and west. There is a small ledge along the north wall of the ravine. To the south is the entrance to a well-constructed but somewhat ruined hall. All right, let's go ahead and fill our teapot. Teapot is now full of water. All right, let's head north. Back to the ledge, near the bottom of the deep ravine. A precarious climb up to a tiny ledge is possible. A short scramble down the rock face leads to a stream. Okay, let's go ahead and go up that face. We're now in a tiny room carved out of the wall of the ravine. There is an exit down a precarious climb. On the north side of the room is a massive wooden door, which has a small window barred with iron. A formidable bolt lock is set in the door frame. A keyhole covered by a thin metal lid lies within the lock. So we understand we have to get through this door using a key, but we don't have the key. We do have a keyhole that's visible here. Okay, so let's go ahead and open lid. The lid's now open. Look, lid. That sentence isn't one I recognize. Look at lid? Maybe they need... Yeah, there we go. Okay, the metal lid is empty. Got it. All right, so now let's go ahead and put the mat we have under door. Now, this puzzle we're about to solve, just so you know, is something you probably wouldn't have figured out by yourself. The mat fits easily under the door, so now we put our mat that we found in the beginning under the door. After we put that under the door, let's put the letter opener in the keyhole. There's a faint noise from behind the door, and a small cloud of dust rises from beneath it. So, just so you know, if you're going to use your imagination, there was a key in the lock, and we used the letter opener and pushed the key out the other side. But first, we had the mat underneath, so the mat has caught the key on the other side of the door. How you would have known to do this, I have no idea. Oh, really? Very information. Yeah, if you get that information to me, Steve, let me know so we can play the game. But yeah, appreciate the comment. Thanks. All right, so now we got the key on the mat. Let's go ahead and remove the opener and drop it. There we go. So we took the opener out of the lock, and now we pull the mat. Now the mat's been pulled, and as it's pulled, there's the rusty key that falls from it onto the floor. So now we have our key, and so let's go ahead and pick it up. Get the key. Very nice. After we get the key, now let's unlock the door with key. Yes, so we're in. The door's now unlocked. I have no idea how you would have figured this out in 1982. I would have pulled my hair out. Oh, if you can find it, that'd be fantastic. Let me know. All right, so door's now unlocked. Let's open it up. Go in there. Door's now open. And let's drop our key. We'll leave it out on the side. Let's go ahead and head north through the door. We're now in the dreary room. This is a small and rather dreary room, eerily illuminated by a red glow emanated from a crack in one wall. The light falls upon a dusty wooden table in the center of the room. On the south side of the room is a massive wooden door which has a small window barred with iron. A formidable bolt lock is set within the door frame. A keyhole lies within the lock. In the center of the table sits a blue crystal sphere. Get blue sphere. Got it. We got it. And we get points for that. Yes! Those are our first points in Zork 2. So after we get the blue sphere, let's go ahead and head south out of the room. We're back in the tiny room where we were before. Let's go ahead and go down the ravine. And notice that, again, it's not giving us the full description. It's like, okay, now we're on the ledge in the ravine. After that, let's go west. We're at the end of the ledge where the east ends here, and a tunnel leads north into the wall. There's a rather odd smoky odor in the warm air of the tunnel. Your sword is glowing with a faint blue glow. So our elvish sword is glowing. Something's in the room causing a smoky odor. I'll give you 3 guesses about what it is. Okay, so let's head north. We're in the dragon room. The room is a large cavern full of broken stone. The walls are scorched and there is deep scratches on the floor. A sooty, dry smell is very strong here. A paved path winds from a large passage to the west, through the room and across a huge stone bridge to the south. To the east is a small crack is visible. A dark and smoky tunnel leads north. A huge dragon is lying here, blocking the entrance to a tunnel leading north. Smoke curls from his nostrils and out from between his teeth. Your sword begins to glow very brightly. Now, obviously, we got to get to that door, but how do we do it? So here's what you do. You hit dragon with sword. Now, other text adventure games at the time, you would have to say the 2-word text parser, hit dragon, and then it would ask with what. We can do it all in the same sentence here with Zork. Oh yeah, I love the writing. That did no damage, but he turns his smoky yellow eyes in your direction and sighs. The dragon continues to watch you carefully. Okay, so let's move south, which means we're moving to the stone bridge. And this is the middle of the ruins, but still impressive stone bridge spanning a deep chasm. Water flows far beneath. The paved path leads north into a large open space. To the south, the path leads to a misty tunnel. The dragon follows you out of mingled curiosity and anger. So rather than being the knight attacking and killing a dragon, you're just annoying the dragon and you're getting it to follow you. All right, so let's use my DOS skills and just hit the dragon with sword again. You made him rather angry. You better be careful now. The dragon continues to watch you carefully. Okay, so let's go ahead and head south again. We're in the cool room. The dragon follows you out of mingled curiosity and anger. Okay, so let's do it again. Let's hit the dragon and cross our fingers. Dragonhide is tough as steel, but you've succeeded in annoying him a bit. He looks at you as if deciding whether or not to eat you. The dragon continues to watch you carefully. That's true. We don't know. It's fantasy. We could have talked to the dragon. Yeah, why not? All right, so now let's head west. We're in the ice room. This is a large hall of ancient lava, since worn smooth by the movement of a glacier. A large passage exits to the east, and an upward lava tube is at the top of a jumble of fallen rocks. A mass of ice fills the western half of the room. As the dragon enters, he sees his reflection on the icy surface of the glacier at its western end. He becomes enraged. There's another dragon here, behind that glass, he thinks. Dragons are smart, but sometimes naive, and this one has never seen ice before. He rears up to his full height to challenge this intruder into his territory. He roars a challenge. The intruder responds. The dragon takes a deep breath, and out of his mouth pours a massive gout of flame. It washes over the ice, which melts rapidly, sending out torrents of water and a huge cloud of steam. You manage to clamber up a small shelf, but the dragon is terrified. A huge splash goes down his throat. There is a muffled explosion, and the dragon, a puzzled expression on his face, dies. He is carried away by the water. When the flood recedes, you climb gingerly down. While no trace of the dragon can be found, the melting of the ice has revealed a passage leading west. Your sword is no longer glowing. I think we only got 5 points for that, but look at all we did. All we did was lead a dragon into the ice room, and all this happened. It even showed us moving, clambering onto another side. Yeah, if we get beer, I will gladly share beer with the dragon. And our sword is no longer glowing. And with that, let's move on to our next version of Zork 2. Man, oh man, never would have figured out that puzzle in a million years. How long people, I'm sure people would get the hint book and then even say, well, I figured it out myself. And you know they didn't. They didn't figure it out themselves. They had to have had the hint book. Thanks to the Zork user group. All right, so let's go on to our next version of Zork 2. This is on the Atari home computer. The Wizard of Frobaz. We must get him. This one looks no different than the other versions we've seen, except for the little sticker in the bottom left that says it's for Atari. And then you flip it over the back, looks pretty much the same. And this game has been re-released and re-released and re-released several times. So while we're seeing the first Zork 2 in 1981, and then here is the first time that it's on other home computers, this is going to be seen a lot. So we won't be playing as extensively as we are now when we see it again, but I just wanted to play this game on the different computers just so you can see the difference. Oh, that's true, yes. That's a very good point. Yeah, what I was playing on was a more modern take on it, of what you would have seen for DOS. Yeah, good shout out, Punk Rock Biker. All right, what other artwork do we have for Zork 2? Another ad we would have seen at the time. Our stories lack imagination because Infocom's interactive fiction is designed to run on your imagination. That's right. And then we also have the manual. This would be the reference card you would have had on the Atari home computer to play Zork 2. What's required? 48K to play Zork 2. Yikes. That's a lot on the Atari. And then how to load the disc, talking in the story. Whenever you see the prompt, you can fill up to 2 lines of text at a time. If you make a mistake, use the delete key. Loving the text parser. It also talks about the scripting that's done in the game, the status line, the time, also similar to deadline, restarting the story, saving position, and then score. Man, oh man. And this is another title that'll take you a long time to play. Yes. Oh, the Invisiclue hint books. That's right, because they had the invisible ink inside. That's true. Yeah, whenever I saw the scans, I realized it's not going to get the same effect that we would have had back then. Time wearing out the books. Very sad. All right, so this is just kind of tips as a reference card or a reference booklet you would have used on your Atari system. Without further ado, you can see this one was on 2 different sides of the floppy disk for the Atari. Let's pop in and play Zork 2 by Dave Liebling and Mark Blank of Infocom at sometime in June 1982. Let's do this. We are not starting from the beginning. We are pressing forward. We are loading what we had, and we're continuing the story that we're going to play tonight for Zork 2. We're not starting the beginning. No way. Restore. This also shows you what it's like to have to switch the discs out. Obviously, you got to ignore the emulation side, but what you see here is what you'd have to pick, what position and drive you want, and you also have to make sure you pick the right disc to save to. Oh, very nice. Did you preserve it to keep it like that, Curtis? The Sea Stalker one? That's right, lemon juice and light bulb. I remember doing that. All right, so reinsert the disc. And let's go. Please load. It worked. So we are after the dragon has gone away or died. We're not sure. We're in the ice room again. The large hall of the ancient lava is worn smooth. We have scorched passages leading west. It's still partly full from steam. All right, so let's go ahead and drop our sword. We're done with this sword. We don't need an elvish sword. Yeah, we didn't get any points for that. It's still keeping the same score, and I notice when I go from version to version, the score is the same. There's no change between scores. Just how do you like your text to look? That's pretty much the difference. Oh, there we go. That's smart. Yeah, keep it out of the sun will do it. If only we knew back then, we'd preserve more books and manuals. Oh, right here, this one? You think this one's the best, Manly? Yeah, I understand the MS-DOS one was a later looking one. I played the MS-DOS one longer because it's a little easier to work typing out the game. But this one, yeah, pretty nice. All right, so after we drop our sword, let's go ahead and head east. We're in the cool room. Cool, man. All right, let's go north to the stone bridge. No description. We're just at the stone bridge. Going north again to the dragon room. Going north again. We're basically making our way out. And now we're in Dragon's Lair. This is the Dragon's Lair. A rotten old wooden chest is in one corner among the debris. So we've lured the dragon away. We're back in the room the dragon was in, and now we've gone past that room into the lair of the dragon, where we have a wooden chest. A beautiful young woman wearing a dirty and bedraggled gown sits on a rock in the corner. Her hair is unkempt, and she's oblivious to your presence, almost in a trance. Had a rough night? Too many drugs? It is 1982. Probably the cocaine. All right, so what we want to do now is try to open the chest. Not that chest. The hinges are very rusty, but they seem to be starting to give. You can probably open it if you try again. There's something bumping around inside. All this rummaging around has startled the young woman. The princess, for she is obviously one. What is that supposed to mean? If she's in a ragged gown, how is she a princess? She shakes herself awake, then notices you for the first time. She smiles. Thank you for rescuing me from that horrid worm, she says. I must depart. My parents will be worried about me. With that, she arises, looking purposefully out of the lair. Wait. Hold up. You're a princess. Where's the money or where's the kiss? We don't get any of that? And she just wanders away? I don't think so. All right, so let's try opening the chest again. The rotten wooden chest opens. Nestled in the chest is a wonderfully wrought gold statuette of a dragon. The princess walks south. She glances back at you as she goes. What is that supposed to mean? Let's go ahead and get the statuette, or the dragon statuette. Get some points for that. Nice, yes. We're racking it up. It says we only need a score of 65 max for Zork too. That seems really low. All right, so after we get the dragon, let's go, or dragon statue, let's go ahead and head south. There's a disheveled and slightly unkempt princess here. The princess walks east. She glances back at you as she goes. So we must follow her. Go east. We're at the end of a ledge. There is a disheveled and slightly unkempt princess here again because we're following her. She goes east again and glances back as she goes. Let's keep following. And still following the princess, she climbs daintily down the rock face, so we're heading down. Oh, that's true. Yeah, this one is, what's the minimum is 32K? And the disk drive. That's going to cost you, that disk drive. All right, so we're still following the disheveled and slightly unkempt princess here, which is, she's not really a princess then. A huge dead dragon is lying, half blocking the stream. Okay, so now let's head south. We're back in the marble hall. There's a square brick here which feels like clay. The princess enters from the north. She seems surprised to see you. You should be surprised to see me. All right, and now we're waiting for the princess to do something, like, so wait around. Time passes, and the princess presses a loose piece of marble in the wall, and a large section of the wall slides away, revealing a passage to the east. She enters it. Anytime text adventure games need you to wait for something else to happen, or whenever text adventure games need you to talk to someone multiple times or do something multiple times, I always forgot and messed those up. I never would have figured out those puzzles. I would do it one time and expect it, like opening the chest. I'd be like, oh, the chest didn't open. Okay, move on. It didn't work. I wouldn't try it again. And here, I wouldn't have thought to wait for time to pass. And it's another one of those mechanics that I always forget whenever I play these games. Yes, maybe she is. We're being led into a trap. It's a trap. Okay, she enters the passage, and we're done on the Atari home computer for Zork 2, at least this chapter of Zork 2. But that's not all. We have one more version of Zork 2, the one you probably didn't know about, the one you weren't expecting. This is Zork 2 in Japan for the NEC PC 8001. It also was re-released on the PC 8800 series, which is what you see here, but either one, either 8000 or 8800 version, Zork 2 was available, and Infocom brought it over, and as far as I know, they have the exact same marketing, looks the same, and everything's all in English. There's another game we played here on the channel in Japan. They haven't put in kanji or Japanese text to be displayed on the screen, so it's still all in English, which means we can play Zork 2 in Japan. Let's go! We also have, you can see the box looks pretty similar to the other ones we've seen, and as far as artwork, it's all fairly the same. Let's pop in and play Zork 2, The Wizard of Frobaz, on the NEC PC 8801. Oh, you do it three. I don't think I'd have the patience to do it 3 or 4 times. All right, let's pick up where we left off. Previously on Zork. Okay, so after time passes, the princess presses the loose piece of marble in the wall, and a large section slides away, revealing passage to the east, and she enters it. Let's go follow her. We're at the path near the stream. There's the disheveled and slightly unkept princess here. And so, if you don't remember, this is what the stream looks like. The path follows southeast of a deep ravine toward the northeast. A tunnel heads southwest, narrowing to a rather tight crawl. A faint whirring sound can be heard in that direction. On the east is a ruined archway choked with vegetation. This is the area where, if you wander around, every now and then you'll have a random encounter with a unicorn, which reminds me of King's Quest IV, which we haven't seen yet. So many things that I think of that are happening later, and we get that in the comments too. When we do this show, people are putting in the comments things, and I'm like, yes, I understand, but that's later. We don't know what that is. We don't know what King's Quest is. That's like 3 years from now. It's so far. Or Kana. Thank you, Kana. Yeah, they didn't put kanji on. It was only they did have kanji later for later systems, but it would be Kana. All right, yeah, you see that? Yeah, the text filled with white is just terrible, right? Really, really bad. All right, so let's keep heading east, following the princess. There's still a disheveled, slightly unkept princess here. The princess is walking north. She glances back at you. What is she glancing back at us for? So we're back in the formal garden. Hedges are hiding a cavern wall, and dim illumination comes from the moss growing on the ceiling. The path of the small crushed white stones, it winds among bushes and a flower bed from south to north. To the north, a small structure can be seen, and that's the way she went. So let's go ahead and head to the north, following the princess. We're at the north end of the garden. Wait, did I go the wrong way? Where did the princess go? Yeah, the princess walks north. Let's look. The northern edge of the formal garden, hedges hide the cavern walls, and carefully manicured center of the roses appears to be a gazebo. That's right. All right, so let's go ahead and head in gazebo. In the gazebo is the disheveled and slightly unkept princess. Anything else here? This is where we picked up all those other items. It's the midst of a formal garden. It's cool and restful here. A tea table adorns the center of the gazebo. I'd find it very bizarre. If I was in Japan, this would sell terribly, because wouldn't you expect the game to be in Japanese whenever you play it? Why would you be into the game in English? I'm sure there's plenty of English-speaking people there, but we're going to see very soon all these Japanese computers, everything's going to go Japanese. I found some translations that we're going to be able to play some games for the first time in English, or just showcase them in English so we can play a little further, but it's still fascinating to me that we have everything in English here first. That's a good point. It kept the Japanese kids from being addicted to the game. That's why there was no Zork fans in Japan. It's all coming together. We're learning too much here on Chronologically Gaming. All right, so the princess is here. What do we want to do now? We wait. That's what we do. Time passes. Shyly, a unicorn peeks out of the hedges. It notices the princess and seems captivated. It approaches her, and when it comes near, bows its head as though curtsying to her. Around its neck is a red satin ribbon on which is strung a delicate gold key. Gosh, how descriptive. The princess takes the ribbon and uses it to tie up her hair. She looks at you and then, smiling, hands you the key and a fresh rose, which she plucks from the arbor. You may have use of such a thing, she says. Well, she at least talks like a princess. Hoity-toity. It is the least I can do for one who rescued me from a fate I dare not contemplate. With that, she mounts the unicorn, side saddle, of course, and rides off into the gloom. A strange little man in a long cloak appears. Oh, this is another random part of the game. He appears suddenly in the room. He is wearing a high-pointed hat embroidered with astrological signs. He has long, stringy, but unkempt beard. The wizard draws forth his wand and waves it in your direction. It begins to glow with a faint blue glow. The wizard, in a deep, resonant voice, speaks the word, "Freeze!" He cackles gleefully. Your limbs suddenly feel as if they've turned to stone. You can't move a muscle. Is that the Wizard of Frabaz? He's frozen us after we just got the key? Let's see if I can look. You are frozen solid. You might as well wait it out because you can't do anything else in this state. Wait, can we just wait and thaw? Let's see. Time passes. Anytime now. Oh, that's true. One of the reasons I just saw in the comments about the X68000, and that's one of the reasons I'm starting at the earliest I can with Japanese home computers, because it's going to change so much. I'm really excited when we do the 68000. That's a long time from now. Wait longer. I know it does look terrible though. I feel like my eyes are wearing out. Oh, your little finger begins to twitch. Then your whole body is free again. So if I wait, nothing happens. Okay, yeah, so we're free. We just had to wait it out. No problem. Walk it off, right? All right, so now let's go ahead and head out of the gazebo. We should be at the north end of the garden. All right, let's go south, past the formal garden, south again to the topiary, south again. Oh, can't go that way. Go west. Now we're in the carousel room again. Most of Zork 2, well, not most, this area that we're in Zork 2 has the carousel room, and then you get spun around super dizzy, and then whenever you decide to leave the carousel room, you get put in random places or random rooms, and every room has different puzzles to solve. So what you can do is you can actually go to a different order than we did today. I'm obviously following a walkthrough because I'm not a brainiac that would figure this out in 1982. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, it came out. Yeah, very good point. The technology was there, but we haven't had the system yet. All right, so after the carousel room, let's go ahead and go west. We're not sure which direction's which. There's something about this room that's very disorienting. So now we're in the topiary. Let's look around. This is the southern end of a formal garden. Hedges hide the cavern walls, and moss provide dim illumination. Fantastically shaped hedges and bushes are arrayed in the geometric precision. Okay, so this is where we were before. Now let's get out of here. Let's head west. Back to the carousel. So we're going to hop in, get dizzy again, and then head out. Where are we now? The Marble Hall. Don't want to be here either. Can we go somewhere else? Can we go west again? No. What about northwest? Northeast? South. There we go. Back in the carousel room. So you're getting disoriented as a character in the game, but as the player, you're also getting disoriented. I don't know what's happening. All right, let's head north again. Where are we at? We leave, and we're outside of the Marble Hall. See, it's all random. All right, so after that, let's try. We got really lucky in the Apple II. I thought we'd be stuck going to different rooms, but we got Marble Hall right off the bat. All right, so after the Marble Hall, let's do it again. Northeast, get off. Oh, go south. And then after south, we'll go north, back out. We are in the Menhir room. This is a large room which was evidently used once as a quarry. Many large limestone chunks lie helter-skelter around the room. Some are completely rough-hewn and unworked, others smooth and well-finished. One side of the room appears to have been used to quarry building blocks, the other to produce menhirs, or standing stones. Obvious passages lead north and south. One particularly large menhir, at least 20 feet tall and 6 to 8 feet thick, is leaning against the wall, blocking what looks like a dark opening leading southwest. On this side of the menhir is carved an ornate letter F for frack you. You're not getting past the block. So this is another puzzle. We have to figure out how to get past the large block. Yes, that's right. We are going to see the Sharp X1. We haven't seen it yet. It just got released, and I know for sure there's one game because the beginning of Hudson Soft is this year, or their very first game. And there's also some disappointment. If you haven't seen the episode where we played the Sharp 6000 one, Frogger was released, and so we couldn't play it because I couldn't find any copy of Frogger for the 6001. I know people have played it, and I've seen the compilations and done my best to try to be able to get the game, but nope, I can't find it anywhere. There's another one coming up that's also on the NEC PC 6001, and that one is also lost. The Japanese are hiding it. I know they are. They have it somewhere in a database. We will find it someday, but right now, no. All right, so after that, let's go ahead and head south. We're at a marble stairway leading down into the gloom, and a passage leads north. Let's go down into the gloom. We are in the oddly angled room. Oh gosh. If anyone's played Zork 2, this is another really crazy puzzle. The oddly angled room is one of the craziest ones. This is a room with oddly angled walls and passages in all directions. The walls are made from some glassy substance, and the marble stairway leads upward. So this room is meant to be worse than the carousel of how you move around. Oh, yes. Yeah, so we haven't seen anything from Hudson Soft yet. We've already seen from like HAL Laboratory and a few other very famous Japanese developers. Obviously, we've seen Nintendo, Sega, Konami, Namco, and so forth. But then we're going to see some other ones that end up becoming really popular later, like Sun Electronics, which eventually will be Sunsoft. We're so excited. All right, so for this room, I think we can go any direction we want, but you're going to be just confused as hell. And with this font, wouldn't you just give up if the game gets so difficult? I'd probably give up at this point. All right, let's go ahead and head east. Once you're in the oddly angled room, you never get out. This room has oddly angled walls, passages in all directions, blah, blah, blah. On the floor is a very small diamond-shaped window, which is flickering dimly. A large wooden club lies on the ground near the diamond-shaped window. The club is curiously burned at the thick end. Okay, so let's get the club. Oh no, the perfect rose slips from your arm while taking the wooden club, and both tumble to the ground, dropped. Okay. Oh, that's because we're in the oddly angled room. We don't know where the gravity is, so we try to reach down to get something, and it probably dropped out of our hands. Oh man, it's ridiculous. Just ridiculous. So can we try rose? Get rose? Got it. Okay, get club. Can we get it? Oh, okay, so every time we try to get the club, the gold key. Oh no, so we just dropped the gold key. Get the key. Okay, so yeah, it's already playing with my mind of where is up and down and where's left and right. Okay, so yes, that's true. I think those were the same stones for Stonehenge. And after that, we have to get our key back. Let's try to get out of here without dying. Let's go east. We can probably go every direction. We have the diamond-shaped window, which is flickering dimly. Let's try to open the window. You must tell me how to do that to a diamond-shaped window. Oh, gosh. All right, so let's try going east again. On the floor is the diamond-shaped window, which is dark. So we've moved to a different place. Let's go west again. Now we have the diamond-shaped window, which is flickering dimly. Okay, keep going west. Flickering dimly, and then you can't go in that direction. Okay, can we go south? Yep, keep going. Not working there. Oh man, so the puzzle has left us stumped. I'll leave us at the oddly angled room in Japan on the PC, the NEC PC 8000 series of computers. There was several different series of computers in Japan, and I just recently have found that there's games that came out for the 6000 series or 6001 that I could get to work and play, and they're found out nowhere else. So while we played or showcased Frogger on the 6001, I didn't have it labeled as the 6000 series. It was labeled like this, because I told myself, oh, I'll be able to get most of these games on the 88,000 series, because it's the most popular one. The most games came out for this computer. But no, we'll be playing as well on this computer and the 8000 series and the 6000 series. All this and more coming in 1982 and beyond. It's going to be crazy in 1983. Just wait. Oh, in 1978. Send them my way, because the most recent ones, I didn't see they were released yet by Hudson Soft. Yeah. Let me know which ones they are. Unless we already have covered one and I'm just not remembering at the time. All right, so that was Zork 2. I am giving Zork 2 the coveted 5-star rating all across the board, every system, while the font on the PC 8800 is just terrible. As far as adventure games go and text adventure games go, this is the gold standard. This is where you should start when you want to play an epic text adventure game. So all these versions, I'm giving the 5-star, one of the best computer games at the time. That's right. They couldn't have. Thanks, Manly. Yeah, let me know for any titles later from there. This, ladies and gentlemen, marks the very end of June of 1982. We played everything under the sun up to this point, and we're now going to continue next episode into July of 1982. Really excited to get those out of our way and play and have a great time. That's it for today, and like I always say, it's dark out there. You better bring a lantern. You are likely to be eaten by a grue. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are Perpetually Retro, and we will catch you next time.